Hi, welcome to Paleo Greenbird. I'm Greenbird. I hope you had a safe 4th of July, and everybody is just so excited that we live in the best country in the world. I wanted to talk a little bit today about what 4th of July means to me. It's a time of independence. It's a time that our country was created. We left an oppressive government and started our own, so kudos to the people who made that happen. And there are still people today, men and women, who are continuing to keep us independent and keep us safe. So thank you so much if you're out there and you're involved in those activities, all you military members. And wanted to just talk a little bit about one of the things that comes to mind to me when I think of the 4th of July is our Constitution. And one of the things that's very important to me is our Second Amendment. I hold that very dear to heart. If you don't know me very well, or you don't know this already, I'm a huge advocate of the Second Amendment. I'm not pushing guns. I'm not saying that everybody should go out there and buy a gun and start carrying, and that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that we are so fortunate and so lucky to have the right, not privilege. Never think of it as a privilege. It's a right to bear arms, and if properly certified, to conceal. And it's a very few select group of people that are, anybody can go buy a gun, but when you really go through the process and you realize what's involved, the responsibility that goes with carrying that firearm, it's just immense. It'll blow your mind. I've talked to a lot of people that they start to carry and then they realize this isn't for me. I can't do this, because they start to realize after going through training and scenarios that they don't have the desire to ever utilize that tool. So what I wanted to talk to you about was that something different. Okay, so stay with me here. This video is not going to be a pushing the Second Amendment, pushing guns. It's going in a different direction. But I'm a huge supporter of the Second Amendment. I've carried in most every video that you've seen. You might not have seen it, which is fine. I'm not the kind of guy who wants to be the most dangerous guy in the room. But I do carry pretty much 24/7, and I had kind of an experience that made me really think, kind of opened my mind. So there are several places where you can't carry. You just can't. You can't go into a post office. You can't go into a bank. You can't go into a federal building. You shouldn't go into a school. Most schools don't allow that. So where does that leave you? I live in a small town, so what I do is I just tuck it under the seat. Not a big deal. I feel comfortable. And that's that. But recently I had to go to an airport. Okay, so I live in Maine. I had to go to the airport in Boston, Logan, and I couldn't carry anything. Obviously I couldn't carry my gun, but I couldn't carry any of my EDC stuff, my multi-tool. I couldn't even carry my ferro rod, my pocket knife, nothing. And I experienced such a overwhelming feeling of helplessness during that process, because I'm used to having that stuff on me. So I thought to myself, what can I do? What can I do to be still prepared in those situations? And sometimes it could be, maybe you're traveling to a state that doesn't allow you to open carry, or doesn't even allow, maybe your concealed carry permit doesn't reciprocate to that state. You just never know. So I thought, what can I do to add to my EDC that would allow me to get through an airport, allow me to get through, maybe not always an airport, but government buildings, places where I'm not allowed to have firearms. For example, I live in Maine. There's a school, a primitive living skills school up in Maine. It's Maine Primitive Skills School. Check them out if you haven't. They're awesome. Michael Douglas, I think, runs it, or at least he's one of the major people. But anyway, so one of their rules: no drugs, no alcohol, no firearms, no guns, no weapons. So, what do I do when I'm out there? I'm 100 miles away from home. How do I feel secure that I still have the ability to protect myself? And that's when it really hit home, is when I was at that airport and I felt so vulnerable. I was like, I've got nothing but the martial arts skills that I've acquired through time, which is great, but it's not enough. That's enough to kind of maybe keep you out of danger, or to buy you some time to run. But I was with my family. I had my daughter, I had my wife, so I didn't have the ability to sort of apply force on force and then scatter. I had to stay in that, on the X basically, and protect my family. So what I did was I really thought hard about what can I do to improve my situation to where I can enter these buildings, these structures, these, you know, the post office, the bank, whatever it is, the airport, and I can still keep these items on me. And as you'll see in the second part of this video, some of it I can take into, you know, every building that I go, and some still probably won't cut it in the airport. But you know, it just really made me think, and I think that everybody should think about situational awareness all the time. And so anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, and I'm going to go ahead and turn the video off because it's about 95 degrees here. Don't have my sunglasses because I put them in my car. Worst mistake I can make. I never put them in my car because when you put them in that little compartment that holds the sunglasses, they live there forever. You never get them out. But anyway, thanks for watching. Look forward to the second part of the video. I'll see you in a bit. Alright guys, so here we are in part 2. I'm going to show you what I have for my everyday carry kit, what I've added to it. And I'm not going to go into too much of application or training or anything like that because I'm not a trainer, and I would encourage everybody to go out there, get some really good training from the smart people who really know what they're doing. I've had a little bit of my own, but you know, not in a place where I feel like I can tell you what to do. So I'm going to tell you, right here, this is my everyday carry kit. I've got my ferro rod, my multi-tool from Gerber, which I am actually not satisfied with. I need to upgrade that, and that's no bash on Gerber, but maybe I'll do another video that tells you why this is insufficient. This is not. In fact, I should probably just take this right off my keychain altogether. I've got my knife, my Gerber pocket knife. I keep it super sharp. Always should. On the other side, I've got some throwaway cash. So that's for a situation I get mugged. Maybe I'm like, hey man, I don't carry a wallet. Here's my money. I don't want any problems. You know, take it and leave. You know, they end up with, you know, 20, 30, 40 bucks, and then they feel happy. They go away. So that's what that is. But as I said, recently I went through the airport, and it really made me super hyper aware of the fact that I'm not always able to be as prepared as I want to be. So I thought I needed to add a few things to my everyday carry. And so one of the things is this tactical pen here. And this is, you know, really advantageous in a lot of different ways. One, it has the tip on there that can break windows. I can get out, you know, if I need to in an emergency situation. You know, maybe not related to any type of you know, force on force situation, but maybe I need to break a window to get out of a car in water, or maybe I need to make a scene, just make a distraction so that people look. Gives me time to go away. I can smack a plate glass window or something like that. Also, it gives me the opportunity to actually write, use what this thing is made to do as a pen. I can leave a note, hey, I've been mugged, or hey, active shooter, I am in parking lot 15 under, you know, parking spot 22A. I'll be waiting for help. I can do something like that. But it gives me a little bit of an advantage on force because I have things I can use. I can actually use the tip to stab with if I want to. Not ideal, but I can do it. So there's that. Next is this tactical flashlight, which is kind of a no-brainer. I'm surprised I haven't added this to my EDC sooner. I think that you just get kind of complacent with what you have. And this is, I believe it's a Gree Ultra Fire. It's very bright. It's a tactical light, so it has the waved edges that are, you know, very unfriendly. If you were to smack somebody in the head and the arm and the leg, you know, ideally what you'd want to do is stun them first with that light, super bright light, and then, you know, and then smack them afterwards. This light is so bright that I can see the top of, you know, 50, 60 foot tall trees, probably higher if I could find trees that were higher than that. Lights up my entire yard. I use it when I have problems with my chickens, if I have predators in the yard, and it's just, it's amazing how bright this light is. So really ideal. And I'm going to work on some sort of a system that allows me to carry these, you know, a holster of some sort. I'm still working on that. This is something that I've just started to address. And you can see my bandana, my signature bandana. Everybody makes fun of the orange bandana, the gold bandana, but hey, It's got a lot of different reasons other than just keeping the bugs off my head and keep me from getting sunburned. In this particular instance, I can use this if I'm wearing this. I'm at an airport, a federal building, wherever I'm at. Now, something happens or there's something bad that I can see coming my way. I can take this off and I can use it for a number of different reasons. If I need to stop bleeding, I can use it to stop bleeding as a tourniquet. If I want, I can stick my keys, my pocket change, my flashlight, whatever I want inside of this. And now I have some sort of a long range or a mid-range sort of self-defense weapon. It's nothing that I'm going to go saving the day with or stopping a bad guy, but if someone's trying to attack me, I have something that's a little bit more long range than what they have, along with these tools. So it gives me some options, and you know, just makes me feel a little bit better about being out, you know, out of my comfort zone. Now, obviously, I'm a flint napper, so if I'm going to a different state or a campground way far away or whatever, some place that doesn't allow me to bring my firearm or anything like that, I also have these over here. It's just a chunk of Evacuate and a piece of granite. I can make probably half a dozen razor blades out of this. But that's just me. That's not anything that I would say is pertinent to this particular setup. The point of me introducing that is that anything that you have that you think you could turn into something self-defense, for example, I guess as I'm thinking about it, I've got a wooden spoon over here. If I was to take this wooden spoon, snap it in half, chances are part of it's going to be sharp. Now I've got a sharp object that I can use, so you have to be opportunistic in everything that you think about. So the most important thing, I guess more importantly than any of the stuff that I've talked about so far, is that, you know, get yourself a basic to intermediate understanding of some sort of fighting style, martial arts, whether it be boxing, you know, I guess karate. I would suggest something more along the lines of, you know, like a jiu-jitsu or, you know, some sort of wrestling, ground fighting, because that's where most of the fights end up. And situational awareness. Just don't be the victim. You know, when you go places, don't look like that tourist guy who's taking pictures everywhere and doesn't know where he's going to catch his bus. Keep your chest up, your chin high, you know, your brow a little furrowed, so maybe you're a little bit angry, perturbed, or whatever. Whatever you're going to do that's going to keep you from being that person who is the most victimizable, if that's a word, person in that group, because bad guys, they look for people who are easy targets for the most part. So I hope that helped a little bit, and I'm not going to get too much into any of the training stuff because I am not an expert on that, and I am learning that myself. But I would encourage you to go out there, get as much training as you can, get as much experience as you can, you know, and learn from all the people who really know what they're talking about, and most importantly, throw some comments down there. Tell me what I need to know, what I missed, what I didn't mention in this video, because, you know, this is something that can help us all. So I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate all your subscriptions, your shares, and all that stuff. So this is Paleo Greenbird. I am signing out. Please have a great day.